right, well, I'm sitting in the idyllic boreal forest here on location at Ness Creek Music Festival. Today, this is Jack Antonio, host of Do You Know Jack, and sitting in front of me is the man, myth, and or legend himself, Mr. Johnny Two Fingers. Johnny, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing very good, thank you. I'm holding in there.
I caught you just as you took a bite of your apple. Don't you hate that when somebody goes to talk to you and ask you a question and you're right mid-chew?
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I've been able to put this apple down.
But you're getting sustenance, which is good because, you know, without going into too much specifics, I hear you, had a bit of a wild and wacky time last night here at Ness.
Yeah, I saw the other side, man. Saw the other side.
Well, now, speaking of the other side, I mean, I guess since it's Sunday and all, I guess the operative question is, where did you learn to play like you do? Did you sell your soul for rock and roll, or is this God-given talent we're talking about here, Johnny?
YouTube tutorials. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. But, like, for real? Like, how did I learn? Or, but actually before when I started to learn, I didn't even have YouTube tutorials, so it was like tabs. Yeah, tabs, just blues scale, whatever.
So how long have you been playing in total?
Since 2000. No, since about the year 2000. Yeah, 19 years, I guess.
Wow. So what inspired you to pick up that guitar to begin with?
Well, I always like music and stuff, as I guess every human being does, but my mom was always like, oh, you got good rhythm, you should play an instrument or something. I go, I don't know. I really like Weird Al, I wanted to play an accordion, but I didn't have enough fingers for that, so I kind of gave up on that, and then I just was asking other random people if they thought maybe I could play guitar. My mom had an acoustic, and just kind of, I watched one kid when I was younger at a camp thing, and there's this kid there. He was like 16 years old, and I was 16. He was like 14 or 12, and he just shredded, and I was bopping my head before I even really knew what headbanging was. And I was just like, I like all these songs and stuff. And that kid was so young. I'm like, I think I should play guitar. I'm like, look at that guy's way younger than me. Look how easy could it be? It's just remembering numbers. It's like math. I'm good at math. I was really, really ignorant to the whole thing. Yeah, but that's kind of that's sort of when I got home. I got a book from the library, and just started to learn it, sort of.
That's the way a lot of guitar players are, just self-taught. Back in the day, you used to sit in front of a record player and, just try and figure it out by ear and not really know your hand positions. Maybe, you're at a party or whatever and you see somebody play and, how are you doing that hand position? Is that sort of your shtick?
Yeah, at the beginning, like I said, I was learning just tablature online. Because I was blessed to be, I guess I'm a millennial, so I had the internet growing up, like doing that. So, but I had to learn how to play from ear after a while, and I'll challenge myself. Like, I hear a song, it's like, because it's what you want to be able to do, just play what you hear through your hands. It took quite a few years to do that, but
yeah. So then, walk me through the progression. I mean, you're learning fucking millennials. But no, all that aside, you're learning guitar tabs and you're watching YouTube videos. I mean, how did you end up at Ness Creek? When did you play Ness Creek the first time? 2016.
We did a audition like a lot of the bands do, and they liked us, and we got to close out the After Hours 10 3 years ago or whatever it was. So.
Yeah. Well, now you've been playing a lot up until that point, though?
Oh, yeah. We were playing, went on a few tours and stuff, and across Canada. Yeah. Actually, at that time, we were just starting to tour a little bit. We hadn't even head out east yet. It was just all like to Vancouver and back, or Victoria and back. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've been basically booking and doing a lot of the business yourself. I think we were talking about this yesterday, that you had a publicist, but
Oh yeah, that was just a one-time thing. That was lost a lot of money on that. It was a bad idea, but yeah, mostly like for all the tour bookings and stuff, it's all been me doing that stuff. So
that's what you got to do it these days.
that's right.
Well, now let's talk influences. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of ACDC influence in there. I mean, it's hard to deny. Even
Well, I'll admit it. I love them. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. They're great. Why wouldn't I rip them off? They're one of the best. They got all the best moves, all the best. Yeah. Angus knows what to do.
Well, you know what I was talking. I've been talking about this with different artists over the years, but I think Angus is a grossly underrated guitar player when you think of his actual chops and even just his blues solos. Like, I wonder if he, I mean, of course, ACDC is one of the biggest bands of all time, but I wonder if he wouldn't have went that route if he would have done a lot more blues playing,
What if he did? You could hear it in his music. He did a lot of blues playing. Sometimes there's some songs that you could hear, like even like Brian Johnson, like his voice actually, if he just sang lower, he'd sound really cool. Like imagine if they did a blues album. That'd be wicked. But they played like the Jack Stoll blues and stuff, and I don't know. Angus he likes rock and roll. It's happier than the blues. Blues can be groovy and happy, but like rock and roll is like the rebellion, like I'm happy and there's nothing you can fucking do to stop me type of thing, right? Like that's what I like about it. It's like rebellion without what's the word? Without the resentment and everything, or without the depression, like you can get mad or like whatever. But rock and roll is more like I'm gonna have a good time no matter what you fucking say, like that's the rebellion of it. Like we're all so fucked, but I'm gonna get up, and that's what I love about ACDC. It was always empowering. It kind of, for me, was like, because like especially Bon Scott stuff, it was always like no matter how bad it got, like you would raise up and fucking let there be rock, just keep giving. Dog eat dog, doesn't matter. He did it with a smile on his face and singing that, and everyone's like I don't know, you can't help but want to get out of your bed. For me,
I think your vocal style even is like Bon influenced.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ozzy and Bon, those are my two favorite singers. I wish I could sing like those guys, but I'm just trying to make my voice sound as good as it can, right? That's all. But like when I'm like, just make it sound kind of good. Yeah, that's the whole theme of the night. Try to make it sound kind of good. Hold it together, John.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess there's that empowerment aspect of rock and roll, right? I mean, the other night you literally climbed up on top of a speaker, and we're just giving her.
Yeah, that was pretty fun, eh? That was pretty sketchy. I like to crawl up on stuff every once in a while, but it was rainy, and but when we get up there and you see all the people love that stuff. That's their cell phone. Oh, when you did that. Usually I do it on a bar or something. Oh, we roll up onto the bar. That's so cool. I've never seen anybody do that in a bar in Salmo, BC before. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know why I did that for all 6 of you, but I loved it, and so did you. So, go Riders, go team, right? Is that how that works? Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. I love it, and doing the like. It's just, Hey, live for the pop, I guess. They like this tune.
God bless that volunteer that helped you out the speaker, though.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And they all, like, once I got up there, I saw, like, the whole shit, and there's people just, like hands up the entire time. It was like a safety net around me.
I think you had that oh shit look on your face.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I gonna get down?
I just thought about that. I called... someone held my guitar when I went down. Fortunately, that was nice, because when I set the speaker up, I don't know if you heard it, but that some killer feedback when I put the speaker on. That was a bad, not like a fun feedback, it was just like and that's what they got to listen to while I struggled up on top of the speaker.
Somehow that kind of shit's fucking cool when that happens.
Yeah, it's good to it's good to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? It's the punishment we all have to go through.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, in terms of like mastering that perfect moment to get feedback, I mean, of course, maybe that wasn't the most opportune time, but there was other times through your set that you did. I mean, is that kind of where that, you know, Jimi Hendrix influence in your sound comes from?
Yeah, well, that gimmick at the end is like when I got that thing when I watched Motorhead, he always like put his guitar off, like put in front of his amp at the end and just like, see ya, and it's just... I watched Motorhead a couple times, and they weren't kidding when they were like the loudest band I've ever seen in my life. Incredibly loud. My hearing was fucked for 3 days. And I was ignorant. It was like at the beginning when I first saw them, I was wearing earplugs or whatever. And I'm like, because I want to experience it for what it really is. And I love Motorhead, and I could not even understand a single fucking... because I couldn't even hear the words. I was right in front of the PA, which was stupid, and then I still couldn't hear a single thing. My buddy had earplugs in, and he got bumped out, and all he said when it fell out was like, "Eee!" And he put it back in. I'm like, never take those out till the end of the night. Ugh, beautiful. Stupid as fuck, but beautiful.
Yeah, well, just, you know, getting back around to Ness Creek, I suppose, because we're here in this environment. I mean, what does playing a festival like this mean to you and your band, I suppose? Is it just like another gig, another opportunity, or?
Yeah, except there's like I said, there's more than 6 people here, so we're doing pretty good, you know. When there's more faces, it's pretty exciting. And personally, I'm actually kind of like a camper guy. I like being outside and stuff like that. So that stuff's really exciting to hang out and meeting seeing some old friends or stuff from other musicians from around, like that Emma fella, you know, like just meeting him at festivals and then coming and seeing him again at another festival. You know, I love that type of aspect of it, and the fact to, you know, like, well, meeting you and meeting all these other, like, it's great. I love, like, playing festivals like this is kind of, it's like, you know, it's just cliche or whatever. It's like living the dream type of thing, right? So it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as much the dream as I could live being a dorky horn player. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, this gives me an opportunity to shoot the shit with guys like you as well. You know, it's been fun. This is the first kind of overnight camping festival I've done, because I've always done these kind of ones where, you know, you go, you see musicians play, and then it's kind of like, okay, the show's over, I'll go back to my hotel room now.
Oh, right, yeah, like a folk fest type of thing, or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, up in Yellowknife, we would do Folk on the Rocks, and of course we live in Yellowknife, so after the show was over, we'd just drive home, you know.
Right, yeah, I know what that's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, did you bring your family here? You got 2 little kids,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, 2 little kids, 7 and 2, Junie and Emmy, yeah. They're, they were up with Mom, and they came here on the first night, and then Mom brought them home, which is probably good because I was irresponsible on last night. But yeah, it was nice to have them out, and they loved it. I wish we could spend more time together, but next weekend we're doing another there's this place in Saskatchewan called Palmer, Saskatchewan. It's a real small sort of it's like a bunch of weirdos from Toronto or Ontario moved to Palmer. They had some family connection. There's they sort of made a little there's only 12 people that live there, man. It's by Gravelberg, and they have shows in an old church and stuff. It's cool. It's a nice place. So we're gonna go. There's gonna be some music there on Friday night, and I'm bringing out the kids, and we'll send a tent there too. It's not as lavish. It'll be just sitting out in the prairies, but it's fun to tent. Kids don't care. I used to tent in my backyard. My dad used to set that out, so I know how fun that is. They'll love it.
Yeah. Well, your 7-year-old now. I mean, she.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't catch the names. She must be old enough now to she must be starting to realize what you do, eh?
Oh, yeah. She. It's funny you say that. Yeah, I mean, loves I don't know. She knows I've been playing you know, I don't know if you know, like, I also manage. My drummer is a professional wrestler, and did I tell you that before?
Well, I heard you make a reference, but I thought maybe you were joking at the
No,
start.
I was
Like, what?
no.
Cannonball Kelly? Like, what?
No, that's legit. And like after our show, we played at 2:50 in the morning, right? Like 3 in the morning on Friday morning. And then we wrestled on. So that's where it went. So Friday night, we went to Regina and wrestled at the Eastview Community Center, where my client and best friend defeated Mentalo in a no-holds-bar, pin anywhere match, and now we are the champions. Official North American heavyweight champions.
So what is that? That's is it CEW? Is that CWE? Because I've heard the name.
I don't even want to talk about those guys. That's the rivals.
Because I've heard the name Mentalo.
Yeah. Oh, Mentalo. Yeah. Yeah. He's from Winnipeg. He's fucking awesome. Or I mean, I hate that guy, but he's an incredible athlete. I do. Mentalo sucks. Just so you know, he sucks. But he's an incredible athlete, but he sucks.
Now,
ringside wrestling, though, that's where we're doing it.
He's one hell of a drummer, though. I mean,
Cannonball Kelly, yeah, fuck yeah, he is. He's a freak. Literally, that guy doesn't practice. His dad, when he was a little kid, his dad's a piano player, and his dad he's like, this is Kelly's lesson. He's like, yo, one time he asked my dad, how do you play drums? And he sat there on a drum. He's like, played Wipeout for me, gave me the sticks. So here you go, and he left. and I figured it out. There you are.
Wow.
He's just a natural. So sometimes telling him how to hold tempos and time and stuff is kind of like pulling teeth, but he's been getting it. He listens. He's kind of like a bull. It's hard, or an ox. You have to whip him a few times. But he's loyal to me. I've been playing with Kelly since 2011. So the bass has kind of been rotating, but Kelly's my rock. You know, that's why he's my client and best friend.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I saw pictures of you with a different bass player on one of your EP covers. I mean, how long is your current? I didn't catch the bass player.
Dave.
Yeah, how long's Dave been with you?
Dave's been playing with us since March, but he's already expressed interest that he doesn't really like being in vans and traveling. He never really did it before. And then we broke him. It took about 3 days, and then he realized he didn't like being in a van for that long. So so anybody out there play bass? But I got figured out. I got it all figured out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he seemed like a pretty chill individual. I mean, what is it with bass players? They always just seem to be, statuesque. It reminds me of, what's that bass player, the New York Dolls? Is it Killer Kane?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that. I know who you're. I don't know who. I can't agree with that though, because the last bass player that we had, Travis Geib, was a fucking madman, and we played with him for about 2.5 years, and he's crazier than me. He'd be dripping sweat. He always wear a tie-dye shirt, and he's just a ripping musician. The guy knows how to play for sure.
Well, the stereotype doesn't work with everyone. Of course, the greatest bass player of all time, Geezer Butler.
Yeah,
he moves around a lot more than Tony does. I mean, I think you're a Sabbath fan, right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, big time Sabbath fan. Yeah.
Okay, well, now I know, I made this comment yesterday too when we were just talking over there, but of course you play an SG most of the time, and I mean that's an Angus thing, but that's also a Tony thing,
right? And that was there's a functionality of it. It's very light, but there was a sound when I was looking for a guitar. Like when I got my first big boy guitar, I was listening to and a lot of my favorite tones all came from Blue Oyster called that guy. There's some Doors stuff he'd used and so there's a few things I was listening to at the time oh, that's an SG, so that's the one I want, and I thought it looked the coolest, and then as that was at the beginning, and one of my favorite guitar players, like they said, and used it, and then as I grew up and realized like I said originally, it's just so much lighter. I couldn't imagine playing a Les Paul or a Fender or whatever. They're just a lot heavier. It would suck. That's what I played my slide guitar for a couple tracks and then put it down because I couldn't imagine playing that. That's like an ES335 type of shape, big you know.
Yeah, with that hollow body that you
Yeah,
had.
yeah, stuffed with socks so it doesn't feed back. That's like a trick from, I guess Malcolm did that, you know, because he had his rhythm guitar. It was that Gretsch with a hollow body thing, and George Thorogood he stuffs too, you know. But he also, I used to have white tape, clear tape in front of the sound holes to reduce feedback because it's just so loud out there.
What's your go-to Sabbath jam?
Oh, Volume 4? Like that album? You mean just like an album or the track?
Well, we can start with albums, but what's the song of choice?
Oh, I mean, but that's not even my favorite song though. Like, it wouldn't probably from that album. It's probably like Into the Void. Love that one. Yeah, that one. That's a good one. And their lyrics are always so good. I love the doomsday type of stuff, and it's good to have reminders, even though like it's all over. We're all fucked, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay.
Well, I was gonna say, how the hell did we come full circle that Black Sabbath lyrics are relevant when they talk about, you know, dropping bombs? That shit literally could happen.
Well, it's because nothing's changed. Have you listened to their new album? Like, it was like, I know, like, I listened to it a lot, like being a big fan of it, and like the lyrics are kind of like, it's the dawn, like, is this the end or the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning type of thing, or like, I don't know. It's like, because they've been singing about that for how many years, and it's still like, is it even any better? Is it? Like, greed's still paramount, like, we're killing the earth, the seas of fucking garbage, islands of garbage, I don't know, in the middle of the ocean. Fuck, I don't know, hopefully it switches. It's just like running out of space to eat, like, our agriculture's killing. I don't want to get into the bummer, but it's so true, and hopefully, I don't know what really to say more than that. But.
So in your own lyric writing, I mean, what are you writing about? I suppose you maybe lean towards that kind of happy, you know, party rock, ACDC stuff? Or?
I like to get a little more deeper than that. Some of it's kind of easy, but a lot of, like, I've sang about more political things. I try to keep that out of the talking about it too much, because it's like kills the vibe. I realize that in sort of a hard way, but I don't mind. Like, I love talking about that stuff in private and stuff, but I realize almost it's like people are gonna think what they're gonna think. You ain't changing any. Everyone knows what they know, and ain't gonna change their mind. But it's just like one song is like money can't. We got this like money can't be eaten. TVIs. There's like a lot of like, I don't know. I like to think about it. I like to be deep, man. Sometimes, you know. I like to be deep.
So now, I think there's specific Johnny-isms in your way you perform, right? I mean, where'd you get the whole mouth breathers shtick? You call people mouth breathers.
Yeah, that's all like from wrestling promo stuff. Fuck, I love calling them mouth breathers. Bunch of mouth breathers.
I was waiting for you to call us pencil neck geeks.
Oh yeah, there's a line of that in the song. There's like pencil neck geeks telling us what to wear. Yeah, I sang that. It wasn't one of the songs I sang, so it was there. You might just the guitars were too loud to hear it. Story of my life, right? Yeah.
So now you guys have just come back from Toronto, cutting a 7-track full length. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. It's been, well, we recorded that. It's been quite some time now. It's kind of getting ready to release it. We recorded in Toronto with Intin Blur. He's kind of like a underground rock legend thing. So there's a Wikipedia if you'd like to check it out. You know, Google him. You know, he's been around for a while, but he was such a joy to work with, and like actually working with a real producer and never have to really think about anything. He just let us do our thing, and like you're playing through this amp, this thing, and then really he helped arrange songs, and that album turned out so good, and way more layers than anything else we've ever done. I can't wait to release it. I can't wait to release it. I just got to come up with a good plan to do such. Take over the world, at least Moose Jaw and surrounding area.
Moose Jaw territory,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I said this to you a couple days ago, but I mean, it's like you're saving rock and roll one sweaty mud pit at a time.
I appreciate that sentiment. Thank you.
Well, now I was gonna say, in terms of the production of the album, I mean, I suppose that the fans' concern might be that there was a certain DIY, live off the floor, almost like a punk rock underproduced mentality, at least of the one that I've heard, which is the one that has the picture of you on the cover. Is that aspect of your sound maybe gonna get swallowed up by production? Like, what does this new album sound like per se?
No, we actually, how we recorded this one was not much different than we recorded any of the other ones. We started with the three of us, laid down the bed tracks together. I played rhythm, or sometimes the solos were, there's a couple times I think the solo just happened live or whatever. We just kind of did. But no, I think it's got this right feel, but it has more depth in a way. Like, you could listen to it a few more times, like, I didn't hear that. Oh, that's interesting. Like, listen to headphones, and because Ian put a lot of little extra things on top that like I would never thought of. Like, he just had so many had such creative input without like changing who we are. It was just a little more psychedelic, just a switch, just a tad. But it rocks.
So I guess just not to keep you much longer, because I know you got to get ready to play with Tara Lightfoot.
Yes,
oh my God,
right,
did you see her last night?
Well, I was I listened to her from my safe spot when I was I don't know. I was coming down. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the you've got this record kind of in the can. I mean, what's the next step for you? You mentioned you're going to go out to there's another festival that you're headed out to next weekend, but I mean, beyond that, what's going on for you this summer?
Well, not much. We're playing Regina on the 27th on Thursday, and then we're getting ready to go on tour out east, out to Quebec City and back. And I got a good friend of ours. There's a band from Winnipeg, and everyone should check them out if you like stuff like Rush and like prog rock and stuff. They're called Moontan from Winnipeg. Like, when I first saw them, man, my jaw was like because the bass player guy, he's just like, he rips and he sings like Geddy Lee and Robert Plant, but like better, like, and he said he played bass for us for that tour. Like, it's just, and he's just like Kelly, like he's a freak, except he's learned it and stuff. He's incredible. I can't wait. And I love Adrian Dyer's playing with us. Yeah, I can't wait. He's a beautiful man. Can't wait to play, and I can't wait to, like, we haven't even practiced with, but I know he'll fucking figure it out before we get, and just like, we'll keep it, doesn't have to be too crazy or nothing. And the bass player in this band is like, Kelly's chaos and I'm kind of chaotic, so the bass player just has to keep it steady. So, and then when I'm changing guitars or whatever and Kelly needs to take a break, Adrian will be able to take it for a walk. I can't wait to see what he just does with the show and does with the songs. I can't wait to go out east, I love performing, it's great.
That's what it's all about in the end, is putting on a truly great rock show, and I definitely saw that the other night in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people, in various degrees of sobriety.
Yeah, I was there. It was a great time.
All right, man. Well, you got any final thoughts on this, Ness Creek thing?
Final thoughts. Home is where the heart is, and home is important. I love being at home, and we all have to have a place where we feel like we're at home. And it doesn't really. I don't know what that is to you, and that's up for you to decide, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, found your home. It's a great thing.